How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I am back in not the fish room again. I know you guys haven't seen the fish room in a while, but I have been super busy going up to making so many videos for you guys, and I have another one that I couldn't quite just hold on. If I sound a little nasally, it's because it's getting cold here in Iowa and the sickness has finally caught up to me. But as an entertainer, I am making yet another video. And ladies and gentlemen, this video is a big one because it is all about guppies. Guppies are my favorite fish to keep. It's typically the fish that you would start with, and it's the fish that has so much attention, unlimited amount of color. I myself, I breed guppies. I have multiple tanks with hundreds and hundreds of guppies. So I made a comprehensive list of my top 5 tips for guppy breeding that professionals use and the general public may not have known. So here we go. Number 1, salt. And this can be rock salt, sea salt, aquarium salt. Salt fixes a lot of problems with guppies. Okay, when guppies are imported from Thailand, Japan, China, anywhere literally, most of them are raised outdoors, and the cost of using water from the tap, like fresh water, is very expensive. Oftentimes they'll have to get water from either the ocean or get water and salt them. So that's the first one. A lot of guppies and a lot of live bearers are grown in brackish water. Brackish means the medium between salt and fresh. Okay, in saying that, a lot of their disease is also cured with salt. The biggest one being clamped fins. If you ever see a guppy and their fins are down, their tails are pinched together, that's called clamped fins. Typically, the best quick fix is to just put in a bunch of salt and it will usually go away. Number 2, culling. Culling is the process of removing an undesirable trait of a guppy or any species of fish or shrimp that you're taking care of, and basically removing them from the gene pool because you don't want their trait to go and passed on to other generations. A lot of breeders use this if they want to keep their strains pure. For regular breeders, if there's a color morph in a specific guppy that you don't particularly want, then that is where you would take that fish out and put him someplace else. Okay, culling doesn't always mean killing. A lot of people associate culling to killing, but it's simply just the removal of a specific trait and putting them somewhere else. It could mean really your Oscar tank, which it would be killing. You could put them in, you could euthanize them as well, which is killing. But like I do, I put my culls in a separate cull tank, and I might trade or give away those fish as well, just for beginners or anyone who is interested in just getting their first fish. I might just hear, hey, take some culls, right? And it's the easiest thing in the world because guppies breed all the time. So culling, in order to get the best quality fish that you can get over generations of time, it is imperative to cull, because if you don't cull, then you're going to be stuck with 20, 30, 40 fish that you don't like yourself. But if you don't like the fish, maybe your customers will like it, but for your own enjoyment, you want to get rid of those so that you're maintaining the strains that you specifically want. Number 3 is baby brine shrimp. Baby brine shrimp is relatively easy to hatch once you get used to it. I wish I learned it sooner, but it's 2 scoops, 2 tablespoons of salt, and 1 scoop of brine shrimp. You put it in a funnel. There's plenty and plenty of DIY brine shrimp hatcheries. I myself wasn't bothered to do the DIY, so I bought myself the Zis hatchery, which I'll put in the link below. But yeah, after your 3rd try, you start seeing these wigglers and you figured it out. It's brine shrimp, ladies and gentlemen. The amount of protein they have in them when they first hatch is immense compared, and it really triumphs over other fish foods. It is a live food, so when you see those twitching little brine shrimps, fry, it's small enough for fry to eat it, but it also enhances their hunting nature in the fish, and it makes them more active. It also makes them more inclined to their natural environment because they're forced to hunt and find food themselves instead of Tetramin flakes. People also use brine shrimp because of the amount of protein that it has in it. Brine shrimp encourages faster growth. So if you're feeding brine shrimp, you might notice that the guppies themselves have actually doubled in size over the last 2 weeks. That is because of the amount of protein that is in every serving. And plus, if the brine shrimp aren't eaten straight away and they live, your guppies can munch on them all day long, and you really don't need to constantly be feeding. I feed 4 to 5 times a day because I want my guppies to grow as fast as they can. But in saying that as well, my hatchery has so much brine shrimp in it, all I'm doing is just turning the nozzle, taking my pipette, and squirting it in the tanks all over. Number 4 is overplanting. Overfiltering means you can overstock. Okay, guppies are prolific breeders, and that means that the tank can get run up extremely fast. Okay, that means more poop, more food, more ammonia, more spikes. If you have a tank that is full of duckweed, hornwort, guppy grass, vallisneria, it is full of plant, and let's just say you have one big sponge filter and like maybe another sponge filter in there as well, you are going to have super clear water, and that means healthy fish. You are allowed to overstock, and this is what a lot of breeders do so that they can have mass quantities of fish all in once. Okay, without overfiltering, without overplanting, you're gonna get ammonia spikes, and your fish are slowly gonna die one by one. They're gonna get stressed, they're gonna get itch, they're gonna get, all these sort of things that you don't want. You're gonna need to buy a bunch of medications simply because you didn't put plants or you didn't filter your tank. Number 5, everyone wants to build their own strain, and I get it. It is fascinating trying to build your own strain. I myself am currently in the process of building my own strain, but what people miss is that it typically takes 2 generations to get your own strain, and on top of that, you need to be very meticulous because you often need virgin females. Now, why do I say that? I say that because when you go to a pet store and you're picking out of the assorted guppy mix, those guppies have been breeding in those stores probably for the last 2 weeks. Okay, which means that the guppy that you pick may not have the same characteristics with the female guppy that you've also just picked. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Because she has been in a tank with a Moscow guppy, a mosaic guppy, a Dumbo ear guppy, a cobra duck guppy, she can store all of that sperm, essentially, all of those she can store all of the juices basically from all of those other males. Okay, so it's important that you understand that it takes 2 generations to filter out all of those wild colors that will come out in the first, and they call them like F1, F2. Okay, so typically you want to be keeping track of when your guppies are born and what colors are being presented so that you have full control over what the next subject is going to look like. And that is it for your top 5 secrets of guppy breeding that you may or may not didn't know. I just figured I'd make a video on this because it's not something that is directly spoken about. A lot of times you buy fish at the pet store and they say, oh yeah, just put these guys in together, they'll breed. It is true, but for breeders, there are certain things, there are certain characteristics, there are certain habits that we have
to make the best quality fish for our customers. And that is all, folks. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more tips all about fish keeping and guppy keeping as well. See you soon.